As investors, we are always looking for the property markets in Australia with the most potential and short-term value. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 of the most undervalued markets in Australia right now. Not only do each of these markets have a history of extremely strong long-term performance, but according to the likes of CoreLogic and SQM research, these suburbs or these parts of Australia have extremely short upturn potential for growth as well. Now, to save you a heap of time, I've recently gone through and reviewed over 4,222 suburbs across Australia's largest 19 markets, and the 5 areas that I'm going to talk about in Brisbane and Victoria in this video are some of the most undervalued in Australia in 2025. Now, the first area I wanted to share in today's video is the Southside beachside suburbs in Brisbane. Not only are these beaches half the price of the same beaches in either Sydney or Melbourne right now, but they are some of the most statistically undervalued suburbs on the east coast of Australia in 2025. Now, the area that I'm referring to is between Birkdale, 19 k's from the CBD of Brisbane, through to Redland Bay, 32 k's from the CBD of Brisbane, along that beachside corridor. Now, in this area, you can pick up beautiful townhouses in the $600,000 to $700,000 range, walking distance to the water, or beautiful houses that are brick, tile, slab on ground on nice big 600 to 800 square metre pieces of land in that $900,000 to $1.5 million range. Now, according to some of Australia's top analysts in the Australian Financial Review, they're expecting the average property in these beaches to go from $800,000 in 2023 through to about $1.3 to $1.5 million on average by the Olympic Games, which is between a $500,000 and $700,000 jump in property prices in the next 7 years. Not only do people in this part of Brisbane earn phenomenal amounts of money, but most of the people living there are owner-occupiers, and some of the best infrastructure and schools in all of Queensland exist in this area, but nobody is looking there at the moment. Now, if we have a quick look at number 58 Pitt Street in Redland Bay, this beautiful big 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 3-car garage home, close to the beach on 710 square meters, recently sold in Feb 2025 for just over $1 million. Now, looking through the photos, this place is absolutely massive and presents extremely well from the street. Not only does it have water glimpses, but the property has been completely renovated to sell with beautiful new flooring, paint, fans, curtains, and a kitchen throughout. As you can see, a property like this is completely tenant ready with absolutely nothing to do at the moment. Beautiful timber flooring throughout, separated living, kitchen, dining, and media rooms, and a beautiful big backyard for the kids or the tenants for this property to play in. Now, what I love about homes like this is the replacement value to build something this large and to this condition in the current market is probably over $700,000, but the land right now in the area would be selling for $600,000 to $700,000 as well. So it means you're picking up this property hundreds of thousands of dollars below replacement value in the current market, and that is one of the things I love about these southern beaches in Brisbane right now. Now, the second area I wanted to look at today is the western side of Melbourne. Now, I know the western side of Melbourne has been getting an extremely bad rap for the last 10 years, and Melbourne as a city has left a bad taste in everybody living down there since COVID's mouths, but this city is primed for short-term, medium-term, and long-term growth. In fact, when you look at the history of the Melbourne market, according to Homely and CoreLogic, the average property in Melbourne has gone up over the 46 years between 1970 and 2016 by an average of 9.5% per annum. But what I love about this market at the moment is there are countless suburbs in the west of Melbourne that have only done between 4 and 6% in the last 10 years, which says to me it is extremely undervalued right now. Now, there are some great suburbs through this area with extremely strong average household incomes and very, very low house prices. Areas like Werribee or Kurrajong, just 24 to 37 k's from the city, are massively overlooked and undervalued in the current market. Now, in this part of the city, you can get townhouses for literally less than $400,000 at the moment, and you can get incredibly high quality houses for between $550,000 and $700,000, which is phenomenal right now. You cannot do that in Perth, Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra, even Hobart or Adelaide right now. Melbourne literally represents a once in a 20-year buying opportunity in 2025. Now, when we take a look at this little cracker, number 75 Abbeygate Drive in Werribee, this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage home on 364 meters of land just sold for $596K in March 2025. Now, as you can see from the property, it's brick, tile, slab on ground, and extremely modern, tenant ready, super low maintenance, ready for you to buy and not even really think about outside of general maintenance for the first 5 or 10 years that you pick up this property. I personally love the look of the kitchen and the beautiful timber flooring throughout, as well as some of the custom finishes and fixtures that they've upgraded in this place. Now, again, what's crazy is a house like this at the moment would cost you almost $400,000 to build, and the land on its own would be another $300K. So again, you're getting it well below replacement value in the current market. Places like this home in Werribee not only represent extremely low maintenance and tenant ready buying, but they produce extremely strong rent returns, with a place like this selling for just below $600K, probably picking up somewhere between $450 and $500 a week in rent, depending on the season or the time of the year. Now, the third area that I wanted to talk about in today's video that is massively undervalued at the moment, according to the guys in the Australian Financial Review, is the southern side of Brisbane, or the Logan corridor. Now, this area is generally between about 19 k's from the CBD of Brisbane, or about 25 minutes in the car, through to about 40 odd k's south, and represents the space in between Brisbane and the Gold Coast, which will one day connect as a monster super city. Now, what I love about this area is you can still pick up townhouses in the $500,000 to $600K range, and extremely good quality properties, depending on if you want to shop the bottom of the market in the $650K range for a renovator, or the middle to top of the market in the $750 to $800K range for a super simple, fully renovated 3 or 4 bedroom brick tile slab on ground home. Now, this isn't just an area of Australia that we're talking about for clients, but I've helped my auntie, my uncle, my brother, and my mum pick up property down there recently. And according to those guys in the Australian Financial Review, the average house price in the area could go from somewhere like $700K in 2023 to as much as $1.2 million by the game. So extremely strong upside if things continue to tick in the right direction in Brisbane in the next 7 years. Now, if we look at number 4, Highbury Drive in Crestmead, this 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 2-car garage home on a 600 square meter block, sold in March 2025 for just $758K. Now, as you can see, again, it presents extremely well, was repainted and refloored for resale, and would represent a super, super low maintenance property that you don't have to do too much to over the first 5 years that you pick it up. What I like about this property and many properties like this in the area is there's many internal walls that in the future, once the market goes up in value, you could open up, redesign the floor plan, put in a new kitchen, and add significant value to the property. On top of this, this property has a beautiful undercover alfresco area and a nice big backyard, and it has a double enclosed garage, which in the future, a savvy investor could work with a local certified builder and town planner and potentially fill in and put a carport out the front, turning it into a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom property, which again would massively increase the rent return and valuation on the property in the future. Some of the suburbs that we like in this area are the likes of Marsden, Crestmead, Eden's Landing, Meadowbrook, Boronia Heights, Regent's Park, Slacks Creek. There's absolutely quality everywhere you look on the map. Now, the 4th hotspot that I wanted to talk about in today's video is this area of North Melbourne, between about 8 and 35 odd k's from the CBD. Statistically speaking, it is one of the lowest and most undervalued suburbs and areas in all of Australia in 2025. Now, obviously, that's a significant range in distances from the CBD, with some of the suburbs sort of 8 k's north of the city selling for well into the millions, and some of the suburbs selling right up there 30 or 40 k's from the city, selling houses for just 600K right now. What I love is it's still super, super affordable as you move into those middle ring suburbs, which I believe are the most undervalued statistically as we speak. You can pick up cool little 3 and 4 bedroom townhouses out there for $550 to $600K, or really high quality houses in the $700 to $750K range. Suburbs like Roxburgh Park, Craigieburn and Epping look absolutely phenomenal over the next 7 to 15 years, which is why I wanted to show you this absolute little cracker that recently sold in Craigieburn for just $740,000. Number 5, Sledgefield Place, Craigieburn. This 4-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, brick and tile home is phenomenally undervalued when you compare it to the same distance from the CBD of Sydney or other parts of Melbourne like East Melbourne. As you can see through the photos, again, it's got a quite modern kitchen, modern flooring, and has been painted throughout for sale. Now, while there are cheaper suburbs that have sold in this suburb that require a bit of a renovation, there are plenty of low maintenance properties like this one, which you can simply move in, tenant ready, set and forget style properties. And then there's the much nicer, much larger, much more modern and more expensive homes selling in suburbs like this one for well over $1 million already. Now, regardless of which of these hotspots you end up buying in Australia, the rules apply Australia-wide. We want to get close to the city, close to infrastructure, train lines, main roads, hospitals, schools, universities. We want nice big pieces of land. We want high quality, tenant ready, set and forget properties in quiet streets with no flooding, no landslide overlays, nothing bad underneath the ground in the backyard, in nice, quiet, peaceful streets that you would want to raise your own children in. Applying these fundamentals to any one of these markets will give you the best opportunity to succeed in the next 5 to 15 years on the investment you buy this year. Now, the 5th and final hotspot that is absolutely going ballistic, I'm talking going up by between $10,000 and $15,000 a month as we speak, is the western side of Brisbane in the Ipswich corridor. Now, these suburbs like Goodna, which is 19 k's from the city, all the way throughout to Ipswich, and Brazil, which are sort of 28 to 33 k's from the city, are phenomenally undervalued and the cheapest property you can buy in the city of Brisbane right now. Now, whether you're looking for an affordable townhouse in the $450,000 to $500,000 range, or you want to increase your budget to the $600,000 to $700,000 range for houses, there is everything that you're looking for in this corridor. Now, what I like about Ipswich is Brisbane city centre is getting extremely expensive at the moment, and so many families that are looking for good schools and good infrastructure are placing themselves out there. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, they're expecting the population in 2025, which is 200,000 people, to reach almost 400,000 people within the decade. On top of this, the state government is looking at the first fast train in Queensland's history, which will take people from the CBD of Ipswich to the CBD of Brisbane in 22 minutes door to door. Now, I just wanted to show you a nice little cheapie out there in Ipswich, which recently sold for just $531,000 in Goodna. Now, this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-car garage, 144 square metre townhouse in Albert Street in Goodna looks absolutely phenomenal. Again, extremely low maintenance, extremely tenant ready, has been cleaned and painted for resale, and at $531K is a phenomenal bargain when you compare the same type of product in Sydney right now. Now, as you can see, looking through these photos, there's absolutely nothing to do. It's extremely clean and an extremely simple style of property where you can just whack a tenant in for somewhere between $500 and $600 a week. What I like most at the moment when comparing Sydney versus Perth versus Adelaide versus Canberra versus the likes of Brisbane and Melbourne right now is the complete differences in the Australian property market and the incredible little holes like these 5 hot areas right now that most people are overlooking. Now, obviously, we have no idea what's going to happen in the next 12 months. In fact, we have no idea what's going to happen in the future. But by statistically looking at the longer term averages and finding the parts of Brisbane and Melbourne that have done less than the average longer term, we can put ourselves, our partners and our families in the best possible position to make the best decision with our money possible. G'day guys, my name's Ben and I'm the director here at Pumped on Property, and I just want to say a massive thank you for watching our content today. Now, if you're thinking about buying an investment property in the next 3 to 12 months, then the team and I would love to offer you a one-on-one strategy session. In that session, we can talk about exactly where you are right now, where you'd like to be longer term, and we can deeply educate you on the Australian market. And then you can take that information and go and absolutely smash it on your own or potentially become one of the small number of clients that we work with each week. To book your session, all you have to do is go to www.pumkedonproperty.com and click that book your free strategy session button. But either way, we wish you all the best on your journey as an investor to financial freedom.